This June 3rd, dark power rises from the mists of legend. But can Morgan Le Fay rule the Snap meta, or is this just another fairy tale?
The recap on Xorn is he's a decent card. Pairs nicely with the Hydra Stomper type of decks, Vulture, of course, and other move-centric packages. He also does a decent job of disrupting your opponent. Limiting where they can play their 3 and 4s is just good enough. Of course, this is all matchup dependent. So overall, Xorn is a decent card. One that I still did not pick up, I will not be picking up. But otherwise, let's get to the Morgan Le Fay information. I get the sense that there's a lot of excitement around Morgan Le Fay, so whether or not she is great or mid, I think that she will be popular. So you will see quite a bit of people experimenting with her. And this is kind of a tricky card to evaluate because she returns the discarded and destroyed cards to your hand, which means you still need to play them out. Which now means Morgan Le Fay, you have to play her on turn 4 or 5 because she's a 4-costed card. If you play her on 6, well, she just returned those cards to your hand. So maybe in some weird Devil Dino deck that just popped into my head, maybe, which is very off meta and would fit very nicely on this channel. But otherwise, in most cases, those are the turns you want to play her on, but then you have to be able to play out those cards again. So I like to think I came up with some interesting ideas with that in mind for the Theory Crafted decks. Series 2 is always the play size start. And so here, if we discard our Iron Man or Blue Marvel with a Lady Sif, we can bring back those cards, one of them on turn 4 with Morgan Le Fay. That's powerful, getting that +3. Swordmaster also targets those cards. It can target one of your 1-cost cards. You can get those out of your hand, or you can just target those 1-cost cards. Depending on how many cards you discard, Morgan Le Fay is a 4/8 or 4/11. So really you want to be discarding or destroying a bunch of cards and then bringing them back to really amplify that +3 power. Part of me did not want to go the Hela route because that is just so obvious. I did it anyway for the Series 3 version. And that's really what we're talking about here. You have the classic Invisible Woman MODOK Hela game plan, which is easily disrupted by Cosmo or Alioth, which is why you don't see it that often now. Bringing back a Black Panther is fantastic. So you can start discarding a bunch of just random cards. You can bring those back on turn 4 or 5 with Morgan Le Fay, or you can just bring them back with Hela on turn 6. So that's kind of the general thought here, but go to other people for more meta type decks. That is not what this channel is about. But here is what I expect to be one of the more popular versions of Morgan Le Fay. Now, this is the deck you come to this channel for. This thing has me super excited because what we are doing is just what I said. We are amplifying Morgan Le Fay's +3 because we are looking to destroy, in this case, not discard, destroy all of our 1-cost cards, whether that be with Carnage, whether that be with Misery. Joaquin Torres Falcon makes an appearance because you can double up on these effects. So I'm not particularly sold that these are the group of 1-cost cards I want, but that's what I'm going with for a first pass. We have Surge here, which you will almost always be able to get her bonus. Unless you hit Gore, you can play out your card that you hit with Surge on. You have Misery for additional destroy. Black Swan, after you've brought back those 1-cost cards, Black Swan now makes them free on turn 6. So you can pair them with a Gore on the last turn, a Joaquin Torres Falcon. That's why I question maybe an Iceman. How necessary is that? A Hydra Bob? Do I want something like a Hawkeye instead? Something that just amplifies power. So I would really need to get in here and play around with what are the 1-cost cards in this deck, but the concept of this deck I am super interested in. But am I interested enough to get the card? I am. I will be getting Morgan Le Fay for 6,000 tokens because I just buy them all individually. I do not like the RNG of the snap packs. So yes, this is a very interesting card. That's just one theory crafted deck. I'm sure when I get my hands on her, I'll have a couple of more ideas. People like yourselves will be sending me different ideas, giving me different ideas, inspiring me. And this seems like a very fun and useful card. How powerful do I think it'll be? Again, I think it's limited because it brings the cards back into your hand, so you need to play them out again. So I think that is the limiting factor on this card. But otherwise, I think it's going to be a good card, at minimally a good card. Probably not busted, but a good card. So thank you to all the members of the channel, and thank you to everybody that watches this deep into the videos. Please let me know what you think of this card. Do you have any synergies that you came to mind, that you've seen, that I didn't touch on or I may have missed? Please let me know. Again, they inspire me to create some of these decks. And thank you for listening to my ramblings. And until next time. Okay, and now we have Be Cool Ant. Normal deck. I have not been running into Thanos, but I know he is dominating the meta. But not in my little meta. So this deck is less effective because it is Loki into stuff like that. Let's go Iron Patriot into Luna Snow. And then I can always follow that up with a Cole. Taskmaster. That would be a good last turn play when paired with Cole. I still follow through, get down the Luna Snow. With Echo, and this is Korg, I should be expecting a Darkhawk. That's probably the best discard we could have had. Okay. I think I go for Surge and Zebrus. They do have extra energy, so they could get Darkhawk down now. There's also a Stature Black Bolt, so that could take out the Taskmaster, which would have them feeling a little bit more confident. I want to see what this turn is, and then I will decide whether or not to snap. Wow, that's fantastic. Okay. And a 0/1 rock. They have priority here. I could go Echo. This is just coming down to a tiebreaker. Echo and the Pig. And I'm playing the Pig last so I can copy it with Taskmaster. Ooh. Oh, it didn't discount. That kind of, I think, is perfect. Yeah. And the Echo is down, so you can't. I mean, do you have Shang-Chi? Yeah. Man, that was fantastic snipe with Echo. I really wish I would have snapped now, of course. But it was too difficult to determine where they would clog themselves, but also it's kind of maybe weird that they didn't play into the Luna Snow lane to break the Ice Cube, that they would willingly clog themselves. So that's ultimately why I wasn't confident in snapping, because I expected them to play here. But yeah, I'll take it.